नेपाल लाइफ इन्स्योरेन्स, किनकि जीवन अमूल्य छ। नेपालको सर्वाधिक लोकप्रिय सीपीवीसी पाइप्स एन्ड फिटिंग्स, राष्ट्रको शान किसान। मेरो देश मेरो जगदम्बा सिमेन्ट। केबी साम डुबल ब्रान्डका हरेक गुणले सम्पन्न एल्युमिनियम प्रोफाइल एन्ड एक्सेसरिज। प्रभु बैंक, रिजन फर योर सक्सेस। 7-in-1 सुप्रसिद्ध सावित्री कञ्चनजङ्घा अगरबत्ती, current hot and spicy noodles.
Proud to be associated with Kantipur News.
Periodic elections are a significant aspect of democracy. A total of 17,988,570 eligible voters across the country are exercising their franchise in the provincial and parliamentary elections. Enthused voters have been reaching their respective voting stations since 7 a.m. Voting will conclude at 5 p.m. later today. Kantipur Television appeals with all our audience to exercise their franchise. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Voting underway for the provincial and parliamentary elections across the country. Enthused voters exercising their franchise. Security arrangements beefed up as voters queue in their respective voting centres to cast their ballot. Election Commission appeals with public to vote without any fear. Malaysia's tightly contested general election delivers a hung parliament. Political alliances led by opposition leader Ibrahim and former Prime Minister Yassin running neck and neck. And a much-awaited FIFA World Cup 2022 begins today. 831 footballers from 32 nations competing in Doha host Qatar to face Ecuador in the inaugural match.
आफ्नो अमूल्य मतको सदुपयोग गरौं। शिवम सिमेन्ट,
जगदम्बा सुपर साइन तथा ग्याल्वा प्लस जस्ता पाता जीवन भरको भरोसा।
घाम पानीको लुकामारी, खुशीका हरेक क्षणको तयारी PU र सिलिकन प्रविधियुक्त बर्जर वेदरकोट लङ लाइफ। घाम पानी छेक्छ, 10 वर्ष टिक्छ।
ल तिमीहरूको फेभरेट टोस्ट। बुवा, लिसियस।
अनि खोइ त
मर्निङ ड्याड।
एकछिन। थ्याङ्क यू। हामी त सुरु गर्छौं हाम्रो दिन विथ डाबर हनी। ब्रेकफास्ट तपाईको, हेल्दी ट्विस्ट डाबर हनीको।
Why quick masala curry? कमाल!
नासको सम्पूर्ण जस्ता पातामा फ्याक्ट्रीबाटै मोटाइसँगै तौल पनि प्रष्ट छापिएको हुन्छ। त्यसैले हुलास भए अरु किन खोज्ने?
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित होम्सी सिमेन्ट।
दिनुभयो, आफूले चाहिँ कम खानु पर्यो।
हेरी खुसुर पुसुर पालक पनिर कम खानु भयो भने क्याल्सियम र आइरन कहाँबाट बनिन्छ?
कहाँबाट?
हाम्रो हर्लिक्सबाट। एक कप हर्लिक्समा छ आयरन जस्तै पालकमा, भिटामिन सी जस्तै ओरेन्जमा र क्याल्सियम जस्तै दुधमा।
हर्लिक्स
पुरा फिनिश गर्नुस्।
तिमीहरू कहिले यति ठुलो भयो?
सर्वोत्तम सिमेन्ट, सर्वोत्तम मजबुती। सर्वोत्तम सिमेन्ट, सर्वोत्तम मजबुती। लक्ष्मी स्टील, नेपालकै ग्यारेन्टेड नम्बर 1 क्वालिटी।
गुणस्तरको हरेक बाचा पूरा गर्दै अब 43 र 53 ग्रेडमा नेपालको अनुभवी जगदम्बा अल्ट्रा प्रिमियम OPC सिमेन्ट।
स्काईवर्थ, बिगर स्क्रिन बिगर ड्रिम। यसपालिको वर्ल्ड कप स्काईवर्थको साथमा। अब हरेक स्काईवर्थ टिभी को खरिदमा 33% सम्म क्याशब्याक।
अब अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित होंसी सिमेन्ट।
So you get sensitivity when those nerves deep down in the tooth have come alive and you get that uncomfortable sensation. I always recommend Sensodyne. And I've had people coming back to me saying it's made a difference. It works.
हुँदैछ आगमन नेपालमा 115 वर्षको इतिहास जोड तोडले गर्न नेपाली पूर्वाधारको विकास। अब नेपालमा वासिन सिमेन्ट शताब्दीौंदेखिको पहिचान गुणस्तरको।
सर्वोत्तम सुपरग्रेडमा छ अन्य फलामे छडभन्दा 60% बढी पकड शक्ति, जसले बन्छ सर्वोत्तम निर्माण, सर्वोत्तम स्टिल।
अब दूध, गहुँ र भाइटामिन्सको शक्ति स्वादिलो चकलेट फ्लेभरमा। हर्लिक्सको पोषण सँगै डेलिशियस चकलेटी टेस्ट पनि।
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित होंसी सिमेन्ट।
तपाईको कपालमा कसको हुकुम चल्छ? स्प्लिट एन्ड्सको जेट या हेयर फलको फैसला? कपालको समस्याहरूले तपाईको हेयर स्टाइलको निर्णय नगरोस्। हेयर प्रब्लम्स मतलब हेयर ड्यामेज। डभको 1/4 मोइस्चराइजिङ मिल्क र केराटिन एक्टिभ्सले कपाललाई भित्रैदेखि रिपेयर गर्छ। अब सुन्दर लहलहाउँदो कपाल जसमा चल्छ केवल तपाईको मर्जी। डभ
नेपालकै सबैभन्दा ठूलो फलामे छड उत्पादक कम्पनी
अमृत स्टिल्स। जे बन्छ दिगो बन्छ।
आफ्नो अमूल्य मतको सदुपयोग गरौं। शिवम सिमेन्ट।
को ताजा चिया अमृत तेल नै हो अमृत। सपोर्टेड बाय प्लमर पाइप्स, टिकी रहन्छ चलिरहन्छ। प्यानासोनिक, अ बेटर लाइफ अ बेटर वर्ल्ड। हिमस्टार नेपालको नम्बर 1 CE प्रमाणित ब्रान्ड, जसलाई म आफ्नो भन्न सक्छु। अपग्रेड टु होन्डा ग्राजिया 125cc, होन्डा प्याराशुट स्किन प्योर फेस वाश, एलोभेरा सुन्तला र गोट मिल्क भेरिएन्टमा।
The Chief Election Officer Dinesh Kumar Thapalia has said that vote counting will begin from 8 p.m. tonight. Thapalia, who has cast his vote from a polling centre in Bhaktapur, Slokanthali, said that results of both the provincial and parliamentary elections will be made public within 8 days. Thapalia has added that vote counting will begin from 8 p.m. tonight as the voting process concludes at 5 in the evening. We now have our colleague Amar Singh Pradhan to give us some live updates. Amar, what update do you have for our viewers? How is the enthusiasm there on this voting day today?
Yes, good morning, Sarah. Good morning, all the viewers. Finally, the much-awaited November 20th, or as per Nepali calendar, Mangsir Char has finally arrived. Our viewers can also see in my background massive enthusiasm. The election fervor is literally it's on. The election enthusiasm and election fervor. I was also going around different polling centers, and I could see that it was almost this moment was an atmosphere of celebration that was matching some national festival. People have wholeheartedly they have come forward to exercise their franchise. And this morning, CPN Mao's chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal, after casting his ballot from Chitwan, although his candidacy is from Gorkha, he described this moment as historic. He said that he was elaborating his statement, and he was saying that this moment is historic because this is at a very crucial juncture. The country presently stands at a crucial juncture, and in his words, there has been attempts to ambush our national charter. So this moment where people have enthusiastically participated in this election from early morning. So he was saying that the successful hosting of the election is going to be a slap on the face of the regressive forces. And talking about, I'm presently here at RR School, which falls in constituency number 1. And constituency number 1 happens to be one of the constituency where the most number of candidates, it's exactly 32 candidates have filed their candidacy from constituency 1. And the candidates include the heavyweight Nepali Congress, the alliance candidate Prakash Man Singh, He is likely to be challenged by CPN-UML candidate Kiran Paudel. Likewise, Rashtriya Prajantar Party Rabindra Misra is also in the fray from here. We can also not undermine Ramesh Kharel, the former DIG who resigned from the police to file his candidacy from constituency 1. Ramesh Kharel represents Nepal Susasan Party. Sarah.
Our security situation always remains a big concern in every election. How's the election scenario? I mean, how is the security scenario?
Yes, Sarah, security situation in every election always remains a massive concern for the state, for the Home Ministry, and for the Election Commission. And we have been updating our viewers about the 3 tiers of security deployed across the country. There are some 300,000 security personnel across the country who have been deployed to monitor the election activities. This 300,000 security personnel includes 75,000 Nepal Army personnel, around 70,000 Nepal Police personnel. Half of that, around 35,000 Armed Police Force personnel. Likewise, there is a big number of temporary police, that is around 115,000 temporary police are also mobilized to monitor the election activities. Likewise, National Intelligence Department, around 2,000 security personnel who will be monitoring in plain civil dress. This time around, there is also the speculations that there is going to be less scuffle, less fighting during this election, because the revolutionary forces like Netra Bikram Chand's party, Biplab's party, and the Maoist revolutionary forces led by Mohan Vaidya, like they have said that they are not much interested in this election. They are kind of sidelined from this election. Likewise, Sikher Raut's party has also come into the mainstream party. So there is likely to be less scuffle, less violence this time around, although we heard of some sporadic incidents of bomb blasting in the run-up to the election. Sarah.
Voter education program is also another issue concerning every election. How hassle-free is voting this time around?
Yes, as I stand here in this RR school, there are some this election center has 4 polling booths to facilitate the voting procedure. And there are also separate lines for the elderly and for the physically challenged community as well. And as I was talking to some of the officials, election officials, they said that the voting procedures or the voting process is minimum of 3 minutes to maximum of 5 minutes. And they were also talking about the less number of invalid votes this time, because the ballot paper, the nature of the ballot paper is much more simplified in comparison to what we had, the kind of ballot paper we had during the local level election. So this one ballot paper, one stamp means there are going to be 4 ballot papers and there are going to be 4 stamps, one stamp for each ballot paper. So this is much hassle-free polling procedures this time. Sarah.
Amar, apart from separate lines, what arrangements have been made for disabled and senior citizens?
Yes, sir, I talked about that. There are separate lines for these senior citizens and the physically challenged people. And there are also these people from some health centers that stand by. They are all ready and eager to help these any people, these disabled, physically challenged, or the elderly people, or the handicapped people. So they are all very eager to support and help out the voters. And for some disabled people who cannot reach, because if you could see in my background, where the voters are going to put a stamp, it's put on a table, and if they are not able to reach that height, this place can also be lowered. Such facilities are also there. Sarah.
Amar, do you have any other updates, any new observation?
Yes, I also talked to some of the election observers who had come from some foreign countries, and they also said that they were very pleased about the security situation. They were more pleased about the enthusiasm shown by the general public, and they were kind of comparing the scenario here in Kathmandu and in some other parts of the country where they were kind of amazed because they were thinking that they were not expecting this kind of enthusiasm. So they were really thrilled to see the kind of enthusiasm shown by the general public here in Kathmandu. Sarah.
Thank you, Amar. We would like to hear more from you in the upcoming bulletin. That was our correspondent, Amar Singh Pradhan, giving us some live updates. Moving on, voting for the provincial and parliamentary elections has begun across the country. Eligible voters are exercising their franchise to elect public representatives who will have a significant role to play for the next 5 years. More than 17,900,000 voters are electing members of the House of Representatives and the provincial assemblies. Enthused voters are queuing in their respective voting centres to cast their ballot. Security has been beefed up in voting centres across the country. A total of 825 individuals will be elected to the House of Representatives and the Provincial Assembly from the November 20 elections. There are a total of 11,543 candidates, including those from political parties and independent in direct and proportionate categories. Meanwhile, 17,988,570 voters are set to exercise their franchise at the polls. Of the 68 political parties registered at the Election Commission, 61 parties are contesting in the direct category, while 47 are in the fray in the proportionate category. A total of 2,412 candidates are contesting in the direct category of the House of Representatives. Of them, 2,187 are male, while 225 are female candidates. Towards the proportionate category of 2,199 candidates are contesting for the House of Representatives. Of them, 1,313 are female and 1,089 are male candidates. For the Provincial Assembly, 3,224 candidates are in the fray. 150 candidates are contesting in Province 1, 1,007 in Madhesh Province, 668 in Bagmati, 225 in Gandaki, 495 in Lumbini, 116 in Karnali and 193 in Sudur Paschim Province. Of the total candidates for the provincial assemblies, 2,943 are male, 2,180 are female, and one candidate is of the LGBTIQA+ community. 3,708 candidates are contesting in the proportionate category of the Provincial Assembly. The November 20 polls will elect 275 members of the House of Representatives, 165 from the direct category and 110 from the proportionate category. Of the 275 members, 128 will be elected from Province 1, 32 from Madhesh, 33 from Bagmati, 18 from Gandaki, 26 from Lumbini, 12 from Karnali and 17 from Sudur Paschim. Meanwhile, 550 members will be elected to the provincial assemblies, 330 from the direct category and 220 from the proportionate category. Of the total 17,988,570 voters, 8,847,579 are male, 9,140,806 are female, while 185 are from the LGBTIQA+ community. Bagmati province has the highest number of voters at 3,471,492 voters, while Karnali has the least at 1,084,003 voters. A total of 10,892 voting stations and 22,227 voting centers have been set for Sunday's election. Of these centers, 100 are physically challenge-friendly. Casting his ballot, CPN Maoist Centre Chairperson Pushpa Kamal Dahal has said that today's election is significant in institutionalizing federalism in the country. Speaking at his voting centre, Rashtriya Adharbhut Madhyamik Vidyalaya in Bharatpur, Chitwan, Dahal said that the election fervour was enthusiastic. He claimed that the ruling coalition would win majority votes and form the next government. Maoist chair Dahal also said that the ruling coalition was yet to decide on the next Prime Minister, but said that there would be no complications in the alliance in this regard. The Election Commission has urged the general public to participate in today's election without any fear. The Election Commission has urged all the voters to vote confidently without any fear. Election Commission Chief Election Officer Dinesh Kumar Thapalia said that the authorities have been directed to take action against those causing obstructions in the election process. The Commission has said that strict actions will be taken against those affecting the impartiality of the election by spreading terror, seizing ballot papers, or preventing the voters from voting. The election officers stationed at voting centers across the country have also been directed to take action against any untoward activities causing irregularities or hindrances. Voting has begun in Kathmandu as well. Enthused voters have been reaching the voting station in Ratnarajya Lakshmi Higher Secondary School in New Baneshwar as well. Voting also began in Morang from 7 a.m. earlier this morning. The voters have begun queuing in their voting centers since early morning. Separate lines have been arranged for men, women, senior citizens, and those with disabilities. Joining us now from Bhaktapur is our colleague Sarah Sapsanama. Sarah, how's it going there?
Morning, Sarah. It's cool. The weather is really good and warm. I'm right now in Constituency 1 from Bhaktapur, and particularly in Bhaktapur, I am in Bhaktapur Multiple Campus. In total, there are 223 voting centers and 76 voting stations in this place. There are 2 constituencies for House of Representatives and 4 for Provincial Assembly. The total number of eligible voters in Bhaktapur are 194,439 people. So these number of people get to exercise their voting franchise on this day that they have been, most of them have been in fact waiting for. So this number also includes 94,683 male voters and then 99,751 female voters. Now, to talk to us, I've requested one of the youth voters who has just voted, cast the ballot. I'd like to welcome our voter. Welcome to Kantipur Television. What's your name?
My name is Abhishek Kuzu. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
So, did you just cast your ballot?
Yes, I've just cast my vote.
How was the whole experience?
I found it quite easy, I guess. It was pleasant because I just came here, everything was sorted. There was volunteers outside, the people were super friendly, everything was well managed. I find it quite pleasant and exciting.
How excited were you? Was this your first time or?
No, this is my second time actually. My first time was the local election. So this time I came as an experienced voter, I guess. So I know who to choose.
What kind of candidate did you vote for? Not naming anyone in particular.
I would say I voted for the people who understand their roles and responsibilities. In the recent news, I've seen that people are misinformed. They think that the people that are elected, they build the roads and they build the drainage, but it's not that. It's that they build the policies that enables people to build, like engineers. I'm an engineer, so they create responsibilities, they create policies that enable us, people like us, skilled people, to do the work. So I hope that the representatives that are elected from here know their roles and responsibilities, and they enable us, youth of this country, to do our job properly.
So you voted back in 2017 as well, right? Yes. Did you find any substantial achievement from the candidate that won back in 2017?
2017, well, it was quite back. So I do not particularly remember the work they have done, because I have not been involved. But since now that I have actually been to works, that I have actually been involved in these places, now I have a lot more concern. So I think back then it was different, but now I am fully focused and I'm in check to see whether the people that are voted, the people that are represented over here, do their job or not.
All right. Good luck to you and all the residents of Bhaktapur.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your time. Sarah.
Sarah, how's the security scenario in the voting center that you are in at the moment?
Well, you can see in the background, it's kind of, because this is a very big field, they've chosen a really good voting center to, let the people come and cast their ballot. It's very peaceful. And to talk about this district, there are around 2,200 security personnel, including temporary security personnel that have been deployed in this district to ensure that the elections are conducted in a peaceful and fair manner as well. Sarah.
How's the voter arrangement scenario there?
Well, just like back in May when we had local level elections, they have distributed the lines for one for female, the other for male, and the other one will be for those who are elderly and also disabled people. And the arrangements, the management seems to be going really well as people are coming in and then voting in. The process is really quick and convenient. People are getting to cast the ballot quickly and they don't have to wait in long lines as well. Because there are so many voting booths in here, the whole ballot process is very convenient and well managed, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. We would like to hear more from you in our upcoming bulletin. That was our correspondent, Sarah Sapsanama, giving us some live updates from Bhaktapur. Now we'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up.
भिडियोकन उत्कृष्टताको अनुभव शक्तिशाली हंसी सिमेन्ट अब 53 ग्रेड सहित हंसी सिमेन्ट रंगीन बनाउनुहोस् आफ्नो जिन्दगी अपोलो पेन्ट्सको साथमा साधारण बल्ब भन्दा उज्यालो वेगा एलईडी बल्ब भविष्य उज्यालो छ सञ्चेती सिटी सिचिया रंग गाढा स्वाद कडा सर्वोत्तम सिमेन्ट सर्वोत्तम मजबुती डिश होम फाइब्रोनेट प्रेजेन्ट्स मेगाफाई खुशीको अपग्रेड इन एसोसिएसन विथ अपकमिङ न्यूज
आफ्नो अमूल्य मतको सदुपयोग गरौं शिवम सिमेन्ट
जगदम्बा सुपर साइन तथा ग्याल्वा प्लस जस्ता पाता जीवन भरको भरोसा
तर तिम्रो कपाल चाहिँ कसरी यस्तो चम्केको नो फिल्टर्स न केमिकल्स मेरो कपाललाई म दिन्छु डाबर वाटिका श्याम्पूको नेचुरल पोषण डाबर वाटिका श्याम्पू beautiful naturally.
Berger Silk. Breathe easy. It's glamorous and also protects walls of my home from bacteria, viruses and pollution.
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सही होंगसी सिमेन्ट
मेरो टार्गेट स्कुल च्याम्प बन्ने
मेरो चाहना मेरो परिवारको इच्छा पूरा गर्नु हो म दिन्छु विवा मेरो परिवारलाई हरेक दिन
मेरो आमा नै मेरो सबै थोक
विवा शुभ दिनको सुरुवात
Sting Energy Drink now in Nepal.
कान्तिपुरले फेरि उपहारको कोसेली ल्यायो विभिन्न उपहार र बम्पर मकान पायो कान्तिपुर राष्ट्रिय दैनिक वा काठमाडौँ पोस्टको वार्षिक ग्राहक बनी पाउनुहोस् हरेक हप्ता 43 इंच DSi स्मार्ट टिभी हरेक महिना सेगवे इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक E100 र बम्परमा किया सोनेट जित्ने सुनौलो मौका साथै स्क्रैच कार मार्फत रु 250 देखि 3400 सम्मको क्याशब्याक स्योर शट उपहारमा पाउनुहोस् शिखर इन्स्योरेन्स द्वारा रु 5 लाखको दुर्घटना बीमा आजै ग्राहक बन्नुहोस् कान्तिपुर सब्स्क्राइब एन्ड ड्राइभ रिलोडेड
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सही होंगसी सिमेन्ट
Beat sensitivity fast with Sensodyne Rapid Relief. Works in 60 seconds.
जब डरले घाँटी सुक्छ तब हिम्मतमा पकड्न छुटोस् माउन्टेन ड्यू ग्रिप प्याक हिम्मत जोडले पकड
थोरै मात्रै बाँकी छ
मम्मीले सबलाई पालक पनीर दिनुभयो आफूले चाहिँ कम खानु पर्यो
हेरी खुसुर पुसुर पालक पनीर कम खानु भयो भने क्याल्सियम र आइरन कहाँबाट बनिन्छ
कहाँबाट
हाम्रो हर्लिक्सबाट एक कप हर्लिक्समा छ आयरन जस्तै पालकमा भिटामिन सी जस्तै ओरेन्जमा र क्याल्सियम जस्तै दुधमा
हर्लिक्स
पुरा फिनिश गर्नुस्
तिमीहरू कहिले यति ठुलो भयो
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित होंगसी सिमेन्ट
नेपालकै सबैभन्दा ठूलो फलामे छड उत्पादक कम्पनी
अम्बे स्टिल्स जे बन्छ दिगो बन्छ आफ्नो अमूल्य मतको सदुपयोग गरौं शिवम सिमेन्ट
Welcome back. Bad weather has created some challenges on the day of provincial and parliamentary elections in Birganj of Parsa. With drop in temperature and bad weather condition, voters are facing some difficulties in reaching their respective voting stations. However, more are expected to reach the voting centres to exercise their franchise as the day progresses. We now have our colleague Prarambha Dahal with insights about today's provincial and parliamentary elections.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. The whole of Nepal, the eligible voters of the country, are exercising their franchise today to elect the members of the House of Representatives and the provincial assemblies for the next 5 years. And in this regard, we have some insights that we'd like to share with all of our viewers across the country. So, well, as we are all aware, there are 165 seats in the direct category of the House of Representatives and 110 in the proportionate category for the lower house. And that makes the total number of seats at the House of Representatives 275. Many political parties are contesting, of which we'll be talking about in detail as well. There are a total of 2,412 candidates for the direct category, while 2,402 candidates are contesting for the proportionate category in the House of Representatives. So the House race is almost even in terms of numbers for the direct and the proportionate category. In terms of the proportions or demographics or sex-wise separation of the candidates in the direct category, 90.67% are male candidates, which stands at a figure of 2,187, while only 225 female candidates are contesting in the direct category of the lower house. Similarly, in the proportionate category, there are 1,089 male candidates and 1,313 female candidates. So the number out here is quite a sharp contrast. There's a higher number of female candidates in the proportionate category. That is also the idea behind having a proportionate mechanism in our election system, which is a mixed election system. Political parties contesting in the elections, well, there are 61 parties that are contesting in the direct category of the provincial and parliamentary elections, House of Representatives race, while 47 parties are in the fray for the proportionate seats. Similarly, if we take a look at the numbers of candidates from different communities, we see that Khas Arya males are the highest, 923 of them, while only 94 of them are female. Similarly, indigenous nationalities, there's 641, which is just a 26.58% of the total number of candidates. Similarly, 506 Malaysi candidates, which is the third highest in terms of the number of, or the proportion of the candidates there. In terms of the highest number of candidates from political parties, it is the main opposition CPN-UML, which has 141 candidates, followed by Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, which has 140 candidates. These two parties have formed alliances in some of the electoral constituencies for today's election. Similarly, Rashtriya Swatantra Party has 131 candidates. It's a new party. People probably have a lot of expectations from the party as well. And the candidates from this party are also quite enthused about today's election. Nepal Workers and Peasants Party is the other one. Nepali Congress has 91 candidates. Nepali Congress, obviously the largest party of the current ruling coalition, which includes parties like CPN Maoist Center, CPN Unified Socialist. So that is the reduction in number of seats for Nepali Congress in relative comparison to CPN-UML is because they had to agree, or they had to reach a consensus in regard to the number of seats being shared by all of these parties in the ruling coalition. So that is why Nepali Congress has less than 100, 91. Rashtriya Prajatantra Party Nepal has 58. Loktantrik Samajwadi Party has 51. Mentioned earlier, CPN Maoist Center, the alliance partner of Nepali Congress, has only 46 candidates. Janta Samajwadi Party has 32. Unified Socialist, another party in the ruling alliance, has 21 candidates. Vivekshil Saza Party has 7. Rashtriya Jana Morcha 2. And Saza Party Nepal have 1 candidate. Let us now take a look at the proportions or the number of voters in all of these different provinces. So we have the highest number of voters in Province 1, 3,396,865, while the lowest number of voters is in Karnali province, which is barely, 1/3 of what Province 1 has. Moving on. Province-wise independent candidates. So the highest number of independent candidates this time in today's provincial and parliamentary elections are from Madhya province at 547, of whom 515 are male and 32 are female. Similarly, the lowest number of independent candidates are from Karnali province with 16 male and none of them are female out there. The other provinces, Bagmati and Lumini, have almost equal number of male independent candidates, while Bagmati has a higher number of female independent candidates for today's election. Let us now take a look at the numbers of situation of voting centers and voting stations and centers in all of the different provinces. Province 1 has 1,897. 2,156, the highest in terms of the number of voting stations, is in Madhya province, followed by Bagmati at 1,812. Similarly, there's 1,283 voting stations in Gandaki, 1,650 in Lumbini, less than 1,000 in Karnali province, and 1,161 which is in Sudur Paschim province. So the seats allocated for all of these provinces are also visible on our screen. For in terms of provincial assembly, the highest is in Bagmati 66 and the lowest is in Karnali, one more time, 24, while the highest in terms of the House of Representatives is in Bagmati at 33 and one more time Karnali, the lowest, with 12 only. So moving on from this, let's now take a look at some interesting graphics. We like playing with graphics out here. So in terms of the total number of independent candidates of the House of Representatives, 867, 790 are male and 77 are female, while in terms of Provincial Assembly, 1,090 independent candidates in total for both direct and proportionate. Of them, 992, almost very close to like the entire number. Only 98 are female candidates for the provincial assemblies. Again, one more time is taking a reference from the previous information that we shared with you. 515 of the independent total candidates in Madhya province are male, and the number of female candidates is quite sad. In Karnali, there is none, while only one in Sudur Paschim, 8 in Gandaki, 6 in Lumbini. One more time, that's a very less number whenever you think of independent candidates. So after that, women candidates. So how many parties, which party has fielded the highest number of women candidates? Well, we can see Nepal Workers and Peasants Party, Nepal Mazdoor Kisan Party has 12 women candidates, followed by CPN-UML, the main opposition, has 11, CPN Maoist Center has just 1, Janata Samajwadi Party has the lucky number 7, Nepali Congress has 5, Rashtriya Swatantra Party, the new party like we mentioned earlier, has also 5 candidates, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party has 4, Nagarik Unmukti Party has 3 women candidates, followed by Nepali Congress BP, the split entity of Nepali Congress, has 3, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party Nepal has 2, CPN Unified Socialist has 1, Rashtriya Jana Morcha has 1 as well, Loktantrik Samajwadi Party has 1. Well, there are 77 independent women candidates, and that is a good sign, not just for the independent candidates themselves, but also for the political atmosphere in Nepal. It shows that more women are interested in politics, despite the fact that the parties are not providing them opportunities. They are rising as independent candidates, and that gives a message to the political parties as well. So in terms of direct category, for House of Representatives, there are 229 women, and for provincial assemblies, there are 286 women candidates. All right, so we are learning. Okay, moving back to the infographics out here, Dalit candidates from different parties. Chabilal Bishwakarma is the candidate of CPN-UML, while Maheshwar Jung Gautraz, also the Minister of Sports, and then Anjana Bishanke is the other of CPN Maoist Center again, while Nepali Congress, which takes so much of pride in being a democratic party and is also the largest party of the ruling coalition, has 0 Dalit candidates. That is something for the party to consider and reflect upon itself. So Dalit members in parliament, back in 2008, the first Constituent Assembly election, there were 601 members, of whom 8.48%, which is a paltry figure, only 51 Dalit members were there in the CA of 2008. In 2013, 5 years later, there were again 601 members, but the number reduced from 51 to 41. That is a sad figure for us to be talking about, only 6.2%. While in the previous House of Representatives election, of the total 265 members at the lower house, only 19 were Dalit, from the Dalit communities, which is at just a 6% figure. And after that, let us now move on to some popular faces that are contesting this time at the House of Representatives and the provincial assemblies. So Rekha Thapa is one of the most popular actors in Nepali film and cinema industry. And we have Muradhar Mizar contesting. Both of them are from Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, while Manoj Pandit is an independent candidate. Madhu Kumar Shrestha is from Nepali Congress. Singer Sanjay Shrestha is an independent candidate in Kathmandu 6. Madhusudan Pathak is also an independent candidate, while Himesh Pant, the comedian, is standing in Dhading 1 from Rashtriya Swatantra Party. Rose Rana, Putan 1-2 for Provincial Assembly from Nepali Congress. Karan Shrestha is contesting from Loktantrik Samajwadi Party in Kathmandu 1-2 again. So that is also for the Provincial Assembly. So let us now take a look at some of the business persons. These names are always there when we talk about big bucks and their businesses, entrepreneurial ventures and success. So Binod Chaudhary is contesting in Nalparasi 1 from Nepali Congress, Bardagat Susta West, while Umesh Shrestha is also served in the government in different capacities, is standing from Nepali Congress in Chitwan 2, while Balkrishna Sivakoti is the candidate of CPN-UML in Dolakha. Similarly, Bikram Pandey is the candidate of Rashtriya Prajatantra Party in Chitwan 3, followed by Krishna Kumar Shrestha Kishan in Bara 4 from CPN Unified Socialist. Purna Bahadur Tawang is the candidate of Nepali Congress in Ramechhap, while Rashtriya Swatantra Party has Suman Bikram Pandey in Nuakot 2, and Jhapat Bora of CPN-UML is contesting in Acham 1. We've got more business persons. Birendra Mahto is Janata Samajwadi Party's fielded candidate in Sira 4, followed by Mohan Acharya of Nepali Congress in Raswa. Lal Prasad Limbu of CPN-UML is contesting in Zapa 4. Rajendra Bajgai, Gorkha 1, is of Nepali Congress. And Indra Bahadur Bania of Nepali Congress is in the Provincial Assembly race in Mokwanpur 2-1. So after that, we take a look at some of the candidates with some criminal records and cases ongoing at different courts of the country. So Bijay Kumar Gachadar, Tegh Bahadur Gurung and Govindaraj Joshi, all of them are facing corruption charges. And after that, D.V. Tamang, Lakshmi Mahto, Prabhu Shah, Bikram Pandey, Rewat Rajpuri, all of them have something going on against them at the judiciary of Nepal. So that is all from me at the moment. We'll be back with more updates like this in next bulletins as well. Back to Sarah.
Thank you, Prarambha. We have recently received update that voting could not be held in Puttar of Ghering rural municipality of Tanahu. Police have arrested 2 cadres of CPN-UML as a scuffle was reported last night. Now, moving on, differently abled people have taken the responsibility of 1 polling center in Baitari. The Office of the Chief Election Officer in Baitari has given the responsibility of a voting center at Tripura Sundari Health Center in Dashrath Chand Municipality 8 to a team of differently abled people. All the election officials at this polling center are differently abled except for the security personnel. The members of the election team say that they can work as well as any other people. During the last local elections held in May, they were not given the sole responsibility and were also stationed in remote areas. However, this time they have been stationed at a center near the headquarters, which has made their work easier. 5 voting centers of Dang will be under the leadership of women. The voting officer, associate voting officer, among other election staff, including security personnel, are only women. 465 voting centers in 153 voting stations have been allocated in 3 election constituencies for the parliamentary election and 6 electorates for provincial assembly election in Dang. 7 out of 465 voting centers are under the leadership of female election officers. All the personnel stationed in these voting centers, including the election officer, other officers and security personnel, are all women. Likewise, the security of a Belghari voting station that has 1,930 voters is under the leadership of a female assistant sub-inspector of police. 14 security personnel, including temporary police, have been maintaining security there. A total of 61 female election officers had been appointed in 20 voting centers in Dang's Constituency 1, 22 in Constituency 2 and 19 in Constituency 3. Likewise, 2 inspectors, 9 sub-inspectors, 124 police head constables and police constables, as well as more than 1,000 temporary police are female. The Office of the Chief Election Officer in Dang has said that female officers have been handed these responsibilities as a proof that women are capable of undertaking all kinds of work. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse, brought to you by Prabhu Bank, risen for your success. Wits College of Engineering and Management, Balkumari, Lalitpur. Hero Super Splendor, Nepal ko ati lokpriya motorcycle. Adim National College, Chabi Hill, Kathmandu. Global College International, Mead Manisore, Kathmandu. Uniglobe College, BBA, MBA. Sundarta ka lagi Rose Feso. Kathmandu Bernhardt College, Bafel, Kathmandu. Texas International College, Mitra Park, Chabi Hill.
Here's the question. What do you term the departure of citizens for foreign employment at the time of elections? Your options are A, necessity of employment, B, disregard for politics, and C, lack of accountability. Voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. Malaysia's tightly contested general election has delivered a hung parliament with political alliances led by opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim and former Malaysian Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin running neck and neck. Anwar's Pakistan Harpan PH or Alliance of Hope coalition secured 82 seats in the 222-member parliament, while former Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's Malay-based Perikatan Nasional trailed behind with 73 seats, results from the Election Commission showed today. One seat was unannounced as of 5 a.m. local time. Elections were not held on 2 seats. Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaqub's ruling Barisan, a national coalition dominated by his United Malays and National Organization party, suffered major upsets, winning just 30 seats. The corruption tainted. Moving on, we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break.
आफ्नो अमूल्य मतको सदुपयोग गरौं। शिवम सिमेन्ट,
जगदम्बा सुपर साइन तथा ग्याल्वा प्लस जस्ता पाता जीवन भरको भरोसा।
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित होंसी सिमेन्ट।
पोखरा जाने बस अझै 1 घण्टा ढिला भएको जानकारी पाउनु।
1 घण्टा क्या बोर यार।
मुड टिङटङ।
बाट बनेको रियल जुसमा छ रियल न्युट्रिसन, रियल टेस्ट र रियल ह्याप्पिनेस। त्यसैले त रियल जुस रियल हो नि।
छिटो पनि दोब्बर तेब्बर मनी। दोब्बर प्लस मुद्दती 2 गुना भुक्तानी 5 वर्ष 8 महिना 28 दिनमा। तेब्बर प्लस मुद्दती 3 गुना भुक्तानी 9 वर्ष 1 महिना 7 दिनमा। प्लस सुविधाहरू 10 लाख सम्मको दुर्घटना बीमा, अजोड इन्स्योरेन्सको सहकार्यमा। अनि 10 लाखसम्मको जीवन बीमा रिलायन्स लाइफ इन्स्योरेन्सको सहकार्यमा।
समृद्धिको लागि सिभिल बैंक।
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित होङसी सिमेन्ट।
नेपालकै सबैभन्दा ठूलो फलामे छड उत्पादक कम्पनी
अम्बे स्टिल। जे बन्छ दिगो बन्छ। आफ्नो अमूल्य मतको सदुपयोग गरौं। शिवम सिमेन्ट।
Time now for sports update.
Sports news brought to you by Lakshmi Steel, नेपालमै guaranteed #1 quality. साधारण bulb भन्दा उज्यालो Vega LED bulb भविष्य उज्यालो छ। V-Bond world class ergonomics office chair with 4 years warranty. Dish Home Fibronate presents Mega Fi Kushiko upgrade.
Much awaited FIFA World Cup 2022 will kick off today in Qatar. A total of 831 footballers from 32 nations are in Doha for the football extravaganza. Host Qatar are facing Ecuador in the inaugural match later tonight. After 12 years of questions, criticisms and conjecture, the FIFA World Cup in Qatar will finally get underway today. Originally scheduled to kick off on November 21, the opening ceremony was moved a day earlier so that host Qatar could start the tournament as is customary for the home nation, but the ceremony needed to be at night for a planned fireworks display. History will be made as not only is this the first Winter World Cup, but Jungkook will also become the first Korean to perform at the World Cup opening ceremony. Along with Qatari singer Fahad Al-Kubaisi, Jungkook will perform the World Cup anthem, Dreamers. The build-up to the first tournament to be held in a Muslim country in the Middle East has been overshadowed by a number of controversies. But FIFA has asked all 32 competing nations to focus on the football, and host Qatar will kick off the tournament against Ecuador at Al Bayt Stadium. The home nations that have qualified are in the same group and in action the following day, with England up against Iran before Wales play USA. Despite the charm of football, Qatar 2022 is likely to go down as one of the most talked about and controversial World Cups in history. The Gulf country defeated bids from South Korea, Japan, Australia and the United States to host the tournament, but there were allegations of widespread corruption in the process, which Qatar have always denied. The 2022 FIFA World Cup is ready to kick off as host Qatar match up against Group A opponents Ecuador. Host Qatar will kick off the tournament at Al Bayt Stadium at 9:45 p.m. local time. Ecuador reached the World Cup by frustrating South American opponents with a stingy defense, conceding just 19 goals in CONMEBOL qualifying, the joint lowest of any team not named Brazil or Argentina, who ran away with the results. Qatar, meanwhile, qualified automatically as World Cup host and will be looking to take advantage of home turf to shock the world in the tournament's opening match. Both sides will see the game as a massive opportunity to pick up a victory in a tough-looking group, which also contains Netherlands and Senegal. The build-up to the tournament has been dominated by Qatar's abuse of the migrant workers who built the stadiums and infrastructure over the past decade so that the World Cup could go ahead, on top of concerns around the safety of LGBTQ football fans in a conservative Islamic nation where male homosexuality is still illegal. France striker Karim Benzema has been ruled out of the World Cup in Qatar after suffering a thigh injury in training, the French Football Federation has said. The Ballon d'Or winner, who has been struggling with a muscle problem, has forced to leave defending champions France's training session on Saturday due to an injury to his left quadricep. Coach Didier Deschamps has said that he was extremely sad for Karim, who had made his World Cup a major objective. Despite his new blow for the French team, Deschamps shared his full confidence in his group. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Voting underway for the provincial and parliamentary elections across the country. Enthused voters exercising their franchise. Security arrangements beefed up as voters queue in their respective voting centers to cast their ballot. Election Commission appeals with public to vote without any fear. Malaysia's tightly contested general election delivers a hung parliament. Political alliances led by opposition leader Ibrahim and former Prime Minister Yassin running neck and neck. And much-awaited FIFA World Cup 2022 begins today. 831 footballers from 32 nations competing in Doha host Qatar to face Ecuador in the inaugural match. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin airs at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur TV HD for latest and live updates from the provincial and parliamentary elections. Bye for now.
Powered by Dokla Chia, आफ्नै बगानको ताजा चिया, अमृत तेल नै हो अमृत. Supported by Plumber Pipes, टिकिरहन्छ चलिरहन्छ. Panasonic, a better life, a better world. Himstar, नेपालको #1 CE प्रमाणित ब्रान्ड, जसलाई म आफ्नो भन्न सक्छु. Upgrade to Honda Grazia 125cc. Honda Parachute Skin Pure Face Wash, Aloe Vera Suntala र Goat Milk variant मा.
अब 43 र 53 ग्रेड सहित वंशी सिमेन्ट.
यो खाताले परिवारमा ल्याउँछ समृद्धि. फाइदा खाता खोल्दा छैन कुनै सीमा. घातक रोग र दुर्घटनामा 84 लाख बिमा. डेबिट कार्ड क्रेडिट कार्ड लकरमा छैन शुल्क. मेरो शेयर डिम्याट खाता एटीएम निशुल्क. एनआईसी एसियाको बचत खाता यो हो सर्वश्रेष्ठ.